Hello, this is Ivan Amara. It's going to be another video. So today, I thought it would be cool to make a video. I already mentioned this in my past videos. I talked about how you world are reprobate and how you chose bullshit sex over what me and my wife's eternal glory. So I thought it would be cool to delve in depth about this topic. That way you guys know what you missed out on. As you missed out on what me and my wife's amazing glory. As it had you let me and wife be together, you and we would have done our thing in Hollywood. You world would have what? You would have witnessed me and my wife's amazing glory, but you took that glory for granted and you chose bullshit sex because you're reprobate and like you got our dance to happen and what? And you took me and my wife's glory for granted. And now that you saw our bullshit sex, now when me and my wife are king and queen, you're now left behind. You're abandoned by God. Right now you don't see it because you're blind world. But once I pay this fee and you got your bullshit sex from Ivan and VJ, what? And now Ivan and VJ are king and queen. You world, what? Are now left behind and bad my God. Such a horrific feeling that even those lucky chosen actors, they're gonna beg me more to resign them once they finish from exams because they were saved. There was that amazing feeling that you world would have had forever. Now that feeling is lost, and only a select few get to have that amazing feeling. And now all are left behind and bad my God, to the point where you guys will cry. You guys are gonna beg for forgiveness and you're gonna regret it. Right? So I'll try my best to drag this out for a good hour and a half. I thought it'd be cool to make a video in depth about about the choice that you will the foolish choice that you will made, obviously. So I hope you guys can see this for here. So I'm gonna call this video the two choices. Right? Two choices. Two choices what? For the world, obviously, right? I don't know if you guys can see that. Can you see it well? I hope you can see it well. So, we're very briefly here. So when me and my wife were born, right? So when VJ, right? So when VJ and and Ivan were born, right? The world, right? So this is the world, obviously, right? So because me and my wife have the keys, obviously, so VJ obviously has the keys like me, and I have the keys, obviously. Right? So when VJ and Ivan were born, because me and my wife have the keys, obviously, right? You world, you saw the what? The two choices, right? You saw Ivan and and VJ's glory in the public eye. So you saw what? You saw us in Hollywood, obviously. Considering Hollywood is the best of the best. You saw us in Hollywood doing what? Seminars. Right? Seminars, movies, radio interviews. Right? Go on. Music. Right? Um, Comic Con. Magazines. You saw what? You saw Ivan and VJ's amazing glory. Obviously. But, I'm going to say this here, but you what? You knew if let Ivan and VJ be together, you would what? You would never know what it would be like to what? To what? You never know what it would be like for us to have sex, obviously. Because Ivan and VJ turn what? Turn us on, obviously. That's obviously what? This is obviously a perfect example of what? How you guys are obviously reprobate officers. So you guys are obviously reprobate people. Reprobate means you're what? You're an unprincipled person, obviously. Person. In other words, you guys are obviously, you're blind. Right? So here's the two choices. So when me and my wife were born, we both have the keys. You world, because you're connected to your mind, you saw what? You saw the two choices. You saw Ivan and VJ's glory in the public eye, obviously in Hollywood. Right? You saw the seminars, right? You saw the movies. You saw the radio interviews. You saw the music. You saw the Comic-Con. You saw the magazines. You saw what? The amazing glory of Ivan and VJ. And you took that glory what? You took that glory for granted. Right? So you saw Ivan and VJ's amazing glory in the public eye, but you knew if you let Ivan and VJ be together, you would never know what it would be like for us to have sex because Ivan and VJ turn us on. Hence, you let your what? You let your what? Hence, you let your what? Devilry envy take over, obviously. And hence why I'm proving why. Hence why I'm proving why you guys are obviously what? Wicked people, obviously. In other words, if you guys are really good people, you would have let me and my wife be together, but you didn't. The fact that you separate me and her for 30 years protects her one. You even act like she's not even my wife. You don't talk to me in the public eye. You locked all the doors on me. You locked all the doors on my wife in Hollywood. You caused this mess. You killed an innocent man. You forced him to share or die. I'm proving what? I'm proving a point that all these people in the world who think are good people, they're not good people. They're what? They're wicked people, obviously. Right? So you saw what? So you saw the two choices. You saw Ivan and VJ's glory in the public eye in Hollywood, obviously. Seminars, movies, radio interviews, music, Comic-Con, magazines, amazing glory. But you took that glory for granted, obviously. You knew if you let me and my wife be together, you would never know what it would be like for us to have sex because Ivan and VJ turn us on. But at least you world would have been saved and not left behind, obviously. Right? In other words, you knew by making the other choice that what? That you're obviously going to be left behind. In other words, I set everything up whereby what? Ivan and VJ are guaranteed going to peace out, obviously. Right? You also saw, I'm going to erase this real quick. Right? Erase this. Yeah. I'll try my best to extend this video to an hour and 30 minutes. It might be a 30-minute video. I don't know. We'll see. Right? You also saw what? You saw the second choice. Right? The second choice, what? Is obviously what Ivan. You saw what? You saw the second choice, obviously. which is what Ivan sabotaged on YouTube, obviously. And VJ, a trashy porn star in Hollywood. Yeah. Right? So you knew what? You knew by making this choice. So you knew by what? By making this choice, what causing mess in both Ivan's and what? VJ's life, and see their what? Their BS sex, obviously. Ivan has to die, and VJ will cry tears because she what? She can't see Ivan. Hence, I set the whole thing up, obviously. Right? So you knew your worlds. You knew because you guys are reprobate. You're blind, obviously. You knew you what? Right? You also had the second choice. You knew by making this choice, causing mess in both Ivan and VJ's life and see their BS sex, Ivan has to die to save VJ. I set the whole thing up. Hence, I'm going to cry, have tears, obviously. And VJ will cry tears because she can't see Ivan. You knew you would get an Ivan, a salvage Ivan on YouTube, and a trashy VJ porn star in Hollywood. Right? And now, when Ivan and VJ are now king and queen, that amazing glory that was seen at birth is now what? Is now lost, and all are left behind by God. So I hope you guys understand. I've already mentioned this in my past videos, but I hope you guys get an idea of what I'm saying here. The reason why you guys made this choice is because you guys are reprobate people, and you're blinded by your envy. You're blinded by your envy of not seeing me have sex. To the point whereby you're willing to even choose what bullshit sex over what my amazing glory in Hollywood. Meanwhile, it's amazing glory in Hollywood. Because you guys are reprobate people, obviously you're messing with me. You're nothing but a fucking mess. You guys don't see it now because you're blind, but once I come out from death, it's finally going to hit your minds how messed up you guys are, to the point whereby you guys are like, oh my god, we're messed up people. Yeah, you guys are fucking messed up people because the fact that you chose bullshit sex over meanwhile eternal glory bothers my mind to this day. It's not until like peace out, it's finally going to hit your minds, oh my god, I can't believe we chose bullshit sex over Ivan VJ's amazing glory. Right? So me and my wife were born. VJ and Ivan were born. We both have the keys. You guys can see, obviously, we have the keys. You also saw the second choice. You knew by making this choice, causing mess in both Ivan and VJ's life and see their BS sex, Ivan has to die. I set the whole thing up. If you want to cause mess in my life and touch my wife, I have to die. And then you chose to touch her anyway. That's why I'm proving how wicked and evil you really are. All the people in the world who you think are good people, they're not good people, they're wicked people. You guys can somehow think you're good, but if you were really good people, you would have let me be my wife, and you would have never touched my wife. But the fact that you touched her, knowing full well I'm going to die, I'm proving how wicked you evil you really are. You guys are wicked people, right? So you saw the two choices, right? Right. You saw, on the one hand, you saw me and my wife in Hollywood. You saw Amazing Glory. You saw me, you know what I'm saying, big budget movies, Comic-Con, you know what I'm saying, music videos, radio interviews. You saw what? The amazing glory of Ivan and VJ, and you guys would have been saved. but you would never know what it was like for me and my wife to have sex. Right? So you guys knew, okay, if we see Ivan and VJ's glory, yeah, we're saved and we're experiencing that glory, but we're never, they're turning us on, and we're never going to know what it's like for them to have sex, obviously. Hence why you guys made a ladder choice, because you are, I don't care, I want to see Ivan and VJ have sex so bad, knowing full well Ivan's going to peace out by you causing this mess and him having to die. I set the whole thing up whereby Ivan and VJ are guaranteed going to peace out. And you guys hope you can get your full cake, but I'm not gonna let you get your full cake like that. Because you made me pay my wife, you're also gonna pay by being let by God. Right? So you saw this first choice, obviously, which is obviously what Ivan and VJ's amazing glory, but you took that glory for granted. You guys took the amazing glory for granted, man. Because you guys are reprobate, you're blind. It's not until I peace out, it's finally going to hit your minds, oh my God, I can't believe we chose the worthless over the worthful. Ivan and VJ's glory is worth so much more than their bullshit sex, but you guys chose bullshit sex because you guys are reprobate, obviously. Right? So you saw, right? You also have the second choice. You knew by making this choice, causing mess in both Ivan and VJ's life and see their BS sex, Ivan has to die and VJ will cry tears because she can't see Ivan, obviously. And now when both Ivan and VJ are king and queen, that amazing glory that was seen at birth is now lost, and all are left behind by God, obviously. Right? Right? So I've already mentioned this in my past videos, but I hope you guys get on deal what I'm talking about here. Right? In other words, world, now that Ivan and VJ, right? This is VJ. This is Ivan. Now that what? Now that Ivan is what? Ivan is king, obviously. And VJ is what? VJ is queen. Right? That's a bad drawing. I'm gonna erase this. I'll just now. In other words, you guys chose what? You chose BS sex over what? Over what? God's glory, obviously. Right? So this is God's glory. And this is what? And you chose what? BS, what? BS sex, obviously. I'll do that. So you chose BS sex over God's glory. So you chose, God's, it had what? Had you guys let me do our thing, you would have what? Been in our what? Presence, obviously. You would have been saved. Right? You would what? Be what? Excited and happy. Obviously. So, had you chose God's glory, you would have been saved. You would have been in our presence. You would have been saved. You would have been excited and happy. But you would what? You would have what? Never known what it would be like for what? For Ivan and VJ to have sex, obviously. But at least you would what? Have been saved. Which is what? An amazing feeling. Right? So how you chose, right? How you chose, right? So, sorry. So, how you chose God's glory, you would have been in our presence. You would have been saved. You would have been what? Excited and happy. But you would never know what it would be like for me and my wife to have sex, obviously. But at least you what? You would have been saved, which is an amazing feeling. Right? By choosing bullshit sex, you what? You cause mess, obviously. Right? Ivan has to die. Sabotage Ivan on YouTube, right? Sabotage Trashy what? Trashy VJ porn star, right? You would see us have sex, but it is BS sex, which is what? Worthless, obviously. And yet you guys what? You guys made this choice. Why? Because you let your envy take over. Instead of what? Instead of doing the good thing. See what I'm saying here? So, you guys chose BS sex over God's glory. Had you seen me and my wife's glory, you all would have been in our presence. You would have been saved. You would have been excited and happy. But you would never know what it would be like for me to have sex. That's how crazy you are. But at least you would have had that. You would have been saved, and you would have had that amazing feeling of what? Seeing the two gods' presence every day. In other words, even though you never know, like for me and my wife to have sex, you would have been in our presence forever, and you would have had that amazing feeling of feeling saved by witnessing the amazing glory of God. And now, because you made this choice and you saw our bullshit sex, got a sabotage Ivan on YouTube and a trashy porn star region in Hollywood, you got rip off sex, which is worthless. And now that you got rip off sex, worthless rip off sex, and you caused mess with my wife's life and kill an innocent man, now what? When me and my wife are king and queen, you guys are left behind, and you now have that horrific feeling of being left behind. And only those select few chosen are what? Saved. See what I'm saying here? And hence why I'm shocked that you guys chose bullshit sex. Because the sex you're going to get from me when I pay its fee is bullshit sex. And you chose the worthless over something that's worth a lot. Because you guys are reprobate people, obviously. You guys chose BS sex over God's eternal glory. Right? Because you made this choice, obviously, when Ivan and VJ, right, are what? King and queen, obviously. What? The world is what? Cut off, left behind, and what? Abandoned from God's glory. And only the lucky what? Only the lucky chosen, obviously, are what? Are saved, obviously. And they're what? They're in what? They get to partake in what? God's presence, obviously. So they get to partake in what? In God's presence, obviously. See what I'm saying here? Drawing a little stick man. So example, the actors. Actors what? For Zanus. Crewmen for Zanus. 17. They are what? They are saved. While what? The world is not saved, obviously. And they're what? Left behind. And what? Will beg for forgiveness. But it is what? It's too late. The judgment of God is set. You see what I'm saying here? So you world, because you made this choice by causing mess and killing me, obviously, and locking all those, we're not talking to the public eye, right? When me and my wife are king and queen, only the lucky chosen few, like the actors and 17 and the crewmen, only they're saved. While the rest of the world are what? They're cut off, obviously. They're cut off and they're not saved, obviously. So the world is cut off and left behind and abandoned from God's glory. They're not saved. They're going to be left behind. They're not. You guys will not be saved, obviously. You're going to be left behind. Right? And you will beg. You will beg for forgiveness. Like, please, Ivan and VJ, forgive me. But it's too late, as you already caused that mess and killed an innocent man, and you choose not to talk about me and my wife in the public eye. Hence, the judgment of God is set, what? Upon the world, obviously. 27 minutes here. So I hope you guys get an idea of what I'm talking about here. Hence why I'm shocked, because you guys chose bullshit sex over Ivan and VJ's glory. So because you made this choice, the world is cut off, left behind, and abandoned from God's glory. They're not saved, they're left behind, and you, world, will beg for forgiveness, but it is too late, and the judgment of God is set. Right? The actors will beg because they were saved. And do not want to be what? To be left behind. Because what? Me and my wife are obviously special, obviously. Right? So this line represents what? The world being cut off from me and my wife's glory, obviously. These small stickmen represent what? The lucky chosen few who are in VJ and Ivan's presence and they're saved. Right? Example, the actors for Zanus, the crewmen for Zanus. They're going to be saved. The 17 are going to be saved. The actors are going to beg because they were saved and do not want to have that feeling of being left behind. Hence why those actors are going to what? Beg their asses off. Right? And you world chose, in other words, you guys chose the worthless over what? You chose the worthless over the worthful, obviously. Because you guys are reprobate people, man. You're messing with me. Yeah. Right, in other words, you guys, in other words, the world chose the worthless, right, BS sex, right? BS sex, sabotage what? Sabotage Ivan and VJ over what? The amazing glory of God. Because you guys are obviously what? Reprobate, obviously. You're blind and reprobate. In other words, the world chose the worthless BS sex, sabotage Ivan and VJ over the amazing glory of God. Right? But once your eyes are open, you will what? You will regret your decision, but it is now already too late. As you what? You caused a mess in my life and you killed an innocent man. Obviously, you can't take that back, obviously. And you will beg for forgiveness, obviously. Right? So, in other words, the world chose the worthless, which is BSX, Sabotage, Ivan, and VJ in Hollywood. Ivan on YouTube, VJ in Hollywood, right, over the amazing glory of God. But once your eyes are open, you will regret your decisions. But it is now already too late, as you guys will beg for forgiveness. But once me and my wife are king and queen, what? It's too late because you guys caused a mess in my wife's life. Show my camera up here.